From the second you wake up, your brain is bombarded by a relentless stream of notifications, demands, and endless noise. Yet, despite living inside this constant stream of digital connection and social presence, people feel a deep and pervasive emotional emptiness. This diagram outlines the critical difference between two states. On the left is loneliness, an involuntary, painful condition defined by feeling emotionally barren and disconnected from others. On the right is solitude. It is the exact opposite. Solitude is a completely voluntary, creative state where you actively pull away from the crowd to hold a conversation with yourself. This viral note explores that dynamic, specifically focusing on how self-reflection requires a person to stop looking outward for validation and start dedicating time to their own growth. Without this distinction, the quiet becomes something to fear. We start to rely on external presence to feel stable, making our sense of self entirely dependent on the people around us. To figure out who you genuinely are beneath the layers of societal pressure, you have to deliberately pull the plug on the external noise and enter silence. At first, this feels deeply uncomfortable. You are forcing a restless mind to stop running and confront long-suppressed emotions. Creating this physical and emotional distance serves as an immediate, unvarnished stress test for every relationship in your life. When you stop being the one to constantly reach out, the reality of those connections becomes clear. You quickly see who actually initiates contact and who checks in just to see how you are doing, entirely without a self-serving motive. Solitude strips away false trust. While finding out a close friend is merely an acquaintance hurts, it is a necessary pain. It stops you from wasting years building a life on a foundation of one-sided, fragile connections. Extended solitude forces you to look at your own logic. It reveals whether a choice is genuinely ethical or if you've simply fabricated a reason to do what is convenient. This flowchart outlines true renunciation. The top path shows choosing a simple life despite wealth. The bottom path highlights the self-deception of claiming virtue for sacrificing unpossessed luxuries. But solitude carries a risk, branching into two outcomes based on your mental resilience. There is a strict dividing line between the two outcomes. Healthy reflection allows you to observe difficult thoughts without drowning in them. Unhealthy rumination traps you in a cycle of replaying the exact same negative thoughts without ever moving toward a solution. If you lack the framework to properly process these thoughts, spending time alone ceases to be a journey of self-discovery. Instead, it becomes a rapid process of self-erosion. This journey changes how you function in the world, transitioning you from a state of dependency to one of self-reliance. This does not mean you abandon society. It means your internal stability no longer relies on constant external approval. If a relationship changes or breaks, you remain intact. You choose to connect with others rather than clinging to them out of need. Implementing this in modern life requires deliberate habits. You can start by replacing your morning smartphone scrolling with a few minutes of absolute silence, putting your thoughts on paper with analog journaling, and scheduling strict digital detoxes. Eventually, you establish a rhythm. A mature personality moves seamlessly between moments of deep, meaningful human connection and periods of intentional isolation, adjusting to whatever the current chapter of life demands. The ability to meaningfully connect with others begins with the ability to survive the silence of your own company.